Ready?
Hello and welcome to at Home Around the World. Today, my name is Robert, and together with my colleague Daniel, I'm presenting you this show. And today we are going to the Ukraine, one of the European partner neighboring countries in the Erasmus Plus program. And we are really happy to go there today.
Hello, my name is Daniel, and I have the honor to introduce you to our friend Andriy Kolobov. He's the national coordinator of Eurodesk Ukraine, based in Kiev, and he has enormous experience in the youth field. He was the chairman of the National Youth Council of Ukraine, the youth platform for more than 100 youth and NGOs in the country. Hello and welcome, Andrei. How are you and how's the weather in Kiev?
Hello, guten Tag. The weather is really perfect. It's super sunny today, plus 32 on thermometer, and you could satisfy very good condition.
Very good. So maybe you could introduce yourself a bit and, of course, your work at Eurodesk Ukraine, what you do and how's the situation now for you?
I, as you mentioned, was involved in youth policy for quite a long time, and during that process, we were successfully achieve opportunity to develop Eurodesk in Ukraine. I will share a screen and tell you a bit more regarding Eurodesk Ukraine and what we are doing. Please have a look. It's mainly Cyrillic alphabet, probably a bit complicated for you to understand, but if you will have a look on eurodesk.org webpage, you could find a lot of similar identities and opportunities. Our main goal is to provide opportunity for young people in Ukraine, and we having two main goals. One of them is to translate opportunities international, which is provided by Eurodesk Brussels link, or we also developed similar to that opportunity finder, our own national opportunity finder, which provide us possibility to build a network for different multipliers and stakeholders all over Ukraine. I will show you where we are. It's a map of Europe, and then we are moving to Ukraine. We have quite a lot of multipliers, and which is consist different youth organization and youth centers all over Ukraine. And our national coordination office is here in Kiev. Kiev is the capital of Ukraine, and on that map you could also find nearest to you multipliers or person or organization. Regarding our work, we started to do a lot of presentation and activity since 2018. And we started with a presentation of that idea to be integrated to European information space in youth work. But of course, current situation a bit changing condition, but we try to keep on also not only ongoing with the practical information too, but also in general shape youth information in Ukraine. And it was established also a working group on youth information, and we hope that it's additional opportunities for all youth workers to deliver more. And we signed different contracts also in Eastern Ukraine, in Donetsk region, and in Zaporizhia region, and other regions to provide leaflets, brochures, other materials for better use information and develop different opportunities for young people. Melitopol and some other pictures you could found from our activities in the past. We also, of course, participated in a Time to Move campaign, which held in every October and tried to disseminate as much as possible information. And it was really nice to play that game, Time to Move, and locate it to the different regions.
That sounds really impressive. So how many multipliers you have got in total, or you established in the last 2 years?
We did educate in 2018, 2019 two national trainings. One of them was conducted in Kiev, one of them was in Svatohirsk in Donetsk region. And altogether it was educated around 58 multipliers, but not all of them are that active, which means that we have actual 41 mentioning on a map. But in our network, in our internal chats, we have much bigger list of people who is in interest, but they are not all of them get education. And of course, during Corona crisis, we are thinking how to reshape training process in online to have also possibility to increase network of multipliers even during that period.
And what kind of persons are those multipliers? Or what kind of organizations are within the network?
It is local and regional youth centers. It's representative from some universities, but the bigger audience what we have is the leaders of youth organization, because the Eurodesk was delivered through the National Youth Council of Ukraine. And it's currently one of the biggest capacity to disseminate information from youth organization to young people in general, and also vice versa from different partner organization to young people through the youth organization.
Yeah, thank you for that insight view. So you want to continue your, okay, we are back here. So those informations you are delivering, what kind of information is it mainly you are delivering towards young people?
As I show in that different categories, you could check different colors for different opportunities. What we having in our national opportunity finder, you could have a look on NYCU and its member organization opportunities. You could get learning opportunities, volunteering, internship, participation, and grants. And also international wise, it's also quite similar, but we are splitting them regarding location. Is it available only for Ukraine, for Ukrainian participants, or inside Ukraine, or externally, kind of international mobility? And you could it easily check when you are choosing such of categories on web page of Eurodesk Ukraine.
Okay, thank you for that insight. You already mentioned the Corona crisis, and I think we are interested in how is the situation in Ukraine now, and how was it before? I mean, we all had this lockdown experience, and how was that for young people, and how is it now? Maybe you could give us some insights of that.
Oh, the situation is really terrible, and last days it was really increasing amounts of people who are affected from coronavirus, and last day it was 2,000, even more than 2,300 people who are affected per day all over the country. We have different measurements for different regions. Since end of February, we had strong quarantine in Ukraine, and for first months, it was really everything was closed, and young people had not got a lot of opportunity to move or even go back to the own cities, dormitories was closed, and it was a lot of challenges. But afterwards, it became a bit better conditions, and we start to make it more decentralized, let's say. And in each municipalities exist different conditions. We have different zones. It's orange zone, yellow, green, and red zone. And depends on location, it's different opportunities. For example, I would like to show you some pictures that at the beginning of August we had some youth organization who also organized activities and camps, and it was possible to do such an activity. And at the end of August, in Kiev region, for example, it's moved to the orange zone, and each camp should continue and closing its action and not planning a new one. And for example, in Odessa city, it also depends from week to week situation, but in such a regions, it's still possibility to meet and have gatherings. Depends. I will also show you some pictures how it's looked like just yesterday. We had I had opportunity to take a picture of just the streets around, and it's a lot of people who is doing rolling, and still we have dancing in a park, and even some outdoor movie cinemas somehow. And it's really nice that people could still have activities, and since the 1st of June people could go to the gyms and swimming pools even, but it depends. And if situation will be changed, we have every day news from head of medical sanitation structure to report on current situation and what kind of things is allow. And some cities at the same time could have, for example, blocked train station and blocked schools. And it's a big question who will start educational system at the beginning of September, and which regions or cities could be prepared for that.
So it's mainly outside activities I saw there. So what do you think how the situation will be when it comes to the winter? When you have more inside activities, it's probably going to be a bit more problematic than at the moment. Huh?
We had a lot of activities. For example, All Ukrainian Youth Center was opened during Corona virus, and it was kind of 5-meter distance from person to person, which has to be guaranteed by organizers. But at the same time, it depends on, at that moment it was possible. What will be next week, we don't know. And of course, it's quite important to have youth spaces, to have still possibilities, even for small amount of people, to have space for gathering. But autumn is not, and winter that cold in last years, and we have still some hope that probably some activities, outdoor activities, will be possible to organize, and we'll see what will be condition of Corona later on.
How did the Corona crisis change the way of your work? Did you do more activities online? Maybe you could give us some examples or ideas what you have done in the past.
What it's influence Eurodesk quite strongly, because Eurodesk is the mainly idea of delivering youth mobility, and of course it's a really important and very cool tool for young people. And it was one of the reasons why we could build that wide network in past years, because it was a lot of opportunities of Erasmus Plus, of European Solidarity Corps, and then we could provide a lot of information and in added value also disseminate information from different stakeholders and establish kind of very good information flow. And current stage, we as a provider of information or manager of information, we try to provide as much as possible our benefits, what we have. For example, we sharing our Zoom account, which is paid, and it's open for partners, for multipliers, for youth organization who could use it and organize the Zoom, not limited just for 40 minutes, but also make it more deep in content or use additional features and tools. Our main focus is to match organization and match youth centers and different stakeholders to still keep on going, planning project, applying for Erasmus, probably for 2021 or some next calls, and still continue keeping international cooperation between youth, because European integration is such an important thing for young people in Ukraine, and it's a big hope for that. And we don't want to lose when the border is closer, which is quite pity. But we need to continue that and keep the mood and positive feeling of possible traveling at some point. And of course, that situation should be changed as soon as it's possible within the restriction and corona pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, so the situation is really much more problematic for young people from your country, just because the borders towards Europe are closed, at least the ones for long-term stays. So at the moment, I think there are no visas towards Europe possible, just the touristic ones for the short situation. So you really say them plan for the future, maybe go next year or the year afterwards if you planned a long-term experience, right?
Yeah, sure. Visa-free regime with Ukraine is not cancelled, but temporary it's not allowed somehow. And but to be honest, within the social media, I could check that some people are still found a way how to travel and found some opportunities to get a corona test, and if it is not confirm your disease or your problematic situation, you could found some activities, but not within youth exchanges. What we had in the past months is we had the opportunity in Turkey, in Bulgaria, in Greece for some of exchanges, and we disseminated information and tried to have found a partner. Even at some point, I'm not sure, probably it was kind of postponed. EVS was available for Spain, but it's not very clear how it's linked to the general perspective of accessibility of program, which is closed at current stage.
What do you think, Andriy? Is the corona crisis and all this experience we all made in the last weeks and months changing youth work in Ukraine in the future? So will there be more digital tools used and maybe digital formats?
From my subjective point of view, youth work in Ukraine is not that well established structure, because we start work and develop youth worker program and try to explain that youth organization is also youth work in volunteer way. And in last 5 years, it was developed a lot. But already 5 years ago, Facebook was quite important tool for our country and for a lot of activists, which mean that youth work somehow was super connected to the online, but it's kind of became more focused on a content or understand the youth work, how could be services provided online, and that kind of things, it still should be developed in better condition, because of course different support is needed during corona. Especially we found that it's important to have kind of mental health support when everyone was closed for months at home, and a lack of opportunity to travel. It's also influenced general life of young people. And I guess we could also think how to improve it. But what I could mention that during Corona was kind of a lot of youth consultations, and the youth participation also didn't stop during the process. It was discussion on open government mechanism and tools. It was also discussion on new youth program for 5 years, which is in process of adoption. And all of the consultation was done online, which means electronic democracy is work somehow. And we hope to achieve also component of corona crisis in that documents, and use information became more important during corona crisis from my subjective point of view.
So, did I understand it correctly that professional youth work is mainly done by volunteers? So they are not going paid by governmental or regional offices or services for.
Not really. We does have network of youth centers, and even 31 of them became a digital educational hub in last few weeks to educate people how to use digital tools for participation in general life. And that network of youth centers just a few weeks ago received the opportunity to have kind of uh, to have paid services when you could also earn some money for the work of youth centers. And yeah, some people they receiving money, but also a lot of youth NGOs are working, but they're still struggling during the corona crisis. And me personally, I was part of commission who deciding on funding scheme of Ministry of Youth for the youth organization, and it was decreasing for 30% of general budget for the activities, but still a lot of organizations they having opportunity to organize their events, but it's under their own responsibility how to deal with corona measurements in which region and how they should organize and protect events for young people, which means that still some possibility exists. But of course, it could be more developed, and the general understanding of that it's very clear, especially you're from the youth sector.
What would you say, Andrei? What are the main challenges for youth work during the crisis? A bit you mentioned the financial side, but maybe on a broader aspect. What are really the...
Yeah, I guess everyone would like to hang out and to meet together in person, and of course it's a bit tiring when everything is online. You just should switch. What's the difference between work, education, and your leisure time? If you're having all day long your laptop or cell phone or other device in front of you, it's became a bit boring. But at the same time, we are having another challenge that probably a lot of young people who do not have access for the devices and for other technologies, or even some territories which is still not covered with proper internet connection, they're somehow excluded. And if it's not a physical events where they could take a bus, take a train, and go there, we have a threat that some of young people will not be covered. It's why, from my perspective, we need to go, as the Eurodesk principles say, even more closer where young people is. And if they are on local level, we need to develop more and more services and opportunities how to go there and support them with information, access to technology, and access for online also. It's why I guess the digitalization is even more important during Corona crisis, especially in youth sphere, in youth work, and we need to find answers how to cover more and more young people. In Ukraine, we have approximately 11 million of young people, and since the Corona started and border became closer, less of them could think about migration from Ukraine, which is also some positive things from some kind of a point of view.
So, how is the migration of young people in normal times? Is it a lot of young people are leaving Ukraine?
Yeah, we does have that challenge, the brain drain, but at the same time, what we promoting as Eurodesk, that still get your experience and travel is provide more opportunity then to turn back to your country and implement better practice. For example, in last 5 years, I had a lot of flights and a lot of events and activities, exchanges, different interactions. And in the last 9 months, I have no traveling at all. And it's kind of new reality for me personally. But I guess that it's cool because I could try to use different experience also. Here there's Germany, how to make it better in Ukraine, how to count more connection with young people and how to provide better services.
So a lot of work, a lot of challenges are facing towards you at the moment and also in general and the next years. So you personally, what are you looking forward to when the crisis, the pandemic is over? What are you going to do first?
I guess it will be time for traveling, definitely, and probably I'm not sure in which way. Probably not a plane, and I would like to have long term for a lot of mobility actions, and probably train all over Europe, for example, or even other continent. And it's still a question, but it would be much more easier when a program is open because it's still support for young people who could not found enough money to travel by our own.
I think that is what we all want to do again, to travel. Me myself, I have never been to Kiev, so maybe I could make a study visit at your office when the pandemic is over. I really want to.
You are kindly welcome. It's super user friendly, and if you wanna, we could even doing kind of online tour to increase your hope to come to Kiev.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. So thank you very much, Andrei, for this insight of Ukraine and your work and your personal thoughts. So thank you very much to have you here on the show, and I'm sure we continue our good partnership in the future, especially when the pandemic is over. We can meet again.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Robert, for your time and interest. And I really hope that we could serve even more and achieve good results in the near future. And I hope to see you soon in person at some point at some place.
Yeah, that's what we are hoping as well. So take care of yourself, stay healthy, and see you live somewhere next time, hopefully. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.